Hi, I'm dgerard, and this is Pivot to AI, coming to you Monday to Friday. Today, venture capital discovers there's no exit. So, our beloved AI bubble. I've said previously how the AI bubble has kept going this long because it's not market forces. It's a scam. It's a sort of distributed Enron where you shuffle around a lot of private company shares that aren't actually so convertible to dollars, but they have a big dollar number attached. And if you write down a big dollar number, you can borrow against it. So a lot of investors need AI to keep going until it eats all their actual money. It spirals out bigger and bigger, like any fraud. That'll be a problem tomorrow, but not today. But venture capital works by eventually turning startup investments into dollars, because it's not their own money they're putting in, it's their investors' money. And those investors are getting impatient for the payoff. One favourite way to exit is to go public. You do an initial public offering on the stock market, an IPO. You sell shares to the general public and to the big investors. But here's an analyst note from Kyle Stanford at PitchBook, the news site for venture capital that you'll sure read. Mega IPOs could threaten 2026 IPO class. If these companies go public, is there enough liquidity for the rest of VC? There's 3 AI companies with huge valuations who want to IPO: OpenAI, Anthropic, and SpaceX, which recently ate XAI. And now venture capital is expecting these 3 to IPO and suck all the money out of the market. This will leave the other IPO hopefuls to flounder. OpenAI's private valuation amount, based on investment so far, is $840 billion. Anthropic is valued at only $330 billion. SpaceX is valued at $1.25 trillion. But they're not trying to offload the whole of these companies onto the stock market in one hit. There just isn't that much money available. Instead, quote, SpaceX is reported to be aiming to raise between $50 billion and $75 billion, and OpenAI and Anthropic could raise another $50 billion combined, which would be roughly as much as was raised by US VC-backed company IPOs over the past decade. Unquote. These 3 IPOs alone screw over everyone else who wanted to do a stock market listing. Quote, IPO underwriting would be constrained by the amount these companies are able to raise. US VC-backed IPOs raised a record $62.1 billion in 2021. Alibaba raised a record $22 billion when it was listed in 2014 and was led by 6 lead underwriters. SpaceX is reportedly looking to raise $50 billion itself, and along with OpenAI and Anthropic's listings, they could together easily push above $100 billion in proceeds. Unquote. Investors are pulling out of venture capital because there's been an extended liquidity drought since 2022. The VCs are wondering out loud if they can ever realize a profit for the investors who gave them the money. These 3 listings will give the investors their desired payoff. It'll provide a few actual dollars, but mostly it'll give them a high valuation of company stock. As a number written on the books, the analyst note talks about exit value, which is not quite the same thing as money. This is ignoring that all 3 of these companies have terrible cash flows, and they'd have to reveal everything about how their awful businesses actually work in their stock offering documents. Think how the WeWork IPO failed in 2019. But now it's 2026, and the market is that desperate for a payoff. The deeper problem is, quote, some of the slow movement to go public has been due to outside factors with both policy, tariffs, and geopolitical uncertainty reigning over the past couple of years, unquote. That is, the economy is screwed, and then President Trump broke oil. When I was writing my list of reasons for economic disaster, I really did not at all anticipate Trump would just break oil. So there's not a lot of actual cash money out there, but there sure are a lot of imaginary assets with a big dollar number attached. This is fine. Thanks for tuning in to Pivot to AI. Remember to share this episode and the wonderful air of doom and futility with your friends. Leave a nice review in your podcast app. Hit like and subscribe on YouTube. And please drop just $5 into the Patreon linked in the show notes to help keep Pivot to AI coming out every day. Thank you all. I'll see you on Monday, and bye for now.